The hidden evidence that Dr. Chun had scattered throughout the office painted a picture of a criminal enterprise far more sophisticated than anyone had imagined. Each piece of the puzzle revealed another layer of the money laundering operation, and Marcus found himself at the center of what would become one of the largest financial crime investigations in the city's history. The flash drives contained encrypted financial records showing transactions totaling over $50 million. The printed documents included bank statements, corporate filings, and correspondence between the various businesses involved in the scheme. Most shocking of all were the photographs, which showed meetings between legitimate business owners and known criminal figures. Detective Park coordinated with the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit as the scope of the investigation expanded. Dr. Chin wasn't just an analyst who stumbled onto something, she explained to Marcus. She was systematically building a case that could take down an entire criminal network. The code that Marcus had discovered proved to be Dr. Chin's insurance policy. She had realized she was in danger and had created a way to preserve her evidence even if something happened to her. Each element of the code led to a crucial piece of documentation that, when combined, provided a complete picture of the money laundering operation. 47B led them to a safety deposit box key hidden behind a loose brick in the office building's basement. The key opened a box containing financial records dating back 3 years, showing the gradual expansion of the criminal network. 19M was a reference to the 19th file cabinet in the office, where Dr. Chun had hidden a detailed organizational chart of the criminal enterprise. The chart showed connections between legitimate businesses and their criminal counterparts, complete with names, dates, and transaction amounts. 33R pointed to a restaurant on 33rd Street that was central to the money laundering operation. Dr. Chun had photographed the restaurant's daily operations, documenting how cash from illegal activities was being mixed with legitimate restaurant revenue. The remaining parts of the code led to additional evidence hidden throughout the building and even in Dr. Chin's apartment. It became clear that she had spent months preparing for this moment, knowing that her life might depend on preserving her research. As the investigation progressed, Marcus learned more about Dr. Chin's background. She wasn't just a financial analyst. She was a former federal investigator who had left government service after becoming disillusioned with bureaucratic red tape. Her decision to work in private consulting had put her in the perfect position to uncover the money laundering scheme. She knew exactly what she was looking for, explained FBI Special Agent Robert Kim, who had joined the investigation. Her methods were textbook federal investigation techniques. She was building a case that would stand up in court, even if she wasn't around to present it. The search for Dr. Chun continued while investigators worked to decode her evidence. The trail led them to several locations around the city, including the businesses she had been investigating. Marcus accompanied the task force on several raids, his security background proving valuable in understanding building layouts and access points. 3 days after the investigation began, they got their first real lead on Dr. Chin's whereabouts. Surveillance footage from a gas station 50 miles outside the city showed her being forced into a car by the man in the dark suit and another individual. The timestamp indicated this had happened the night she disappeared. "She's alive," Detective Torres announced to the team. The fact that they moved her out of the city suggests they need something from her, probably access to additional evidence or information about her investigation. The break in the case came from an unexpected source. Marcus was reviewing security footage from the building's parking garage when he noticed something he had missed before. On the night Dr. Chin disappeared, the cameras had captured the license plate of the car she was forced into. The vehicle was registered to Coastal Construction, one of the companies Dr. Chun had been investigating. The registration led police to a construction site on the outskirts of the city, where they discovered evidence of the criminal operations headquarters. The site appeared to be a legitimate construction project during the day, but surveillance revealed that it was being used for meetings and document storage after hours. More importantly, thermal imaging showed that there were people being held in a trailer on the construction site. The rescue operation was planned carefully. Marcus volunteered to participate, using his knowledge of Dr. Chin's case and his security training to assist the tactical team. At dawn on the 4th day of the investigation, police surrounded the construction site. Dr. Chun was found alive, but weak in a storage container that had been converted into a makeshift prison. She had been held captive while her abductors tried to force her to reveal the locations of additional evidence and to provide access codes for encrypted files. I knew someone would figure out the code, she told Marcus as paramedics examined her. I left it where I was sure a security guard would find it during routine patrol. I was counting on someone like you to piece it together. Dr. Chin's abduction had been orchestrated by Vincent Morales, a mid-level crime boss who had been using the business network to launder money from his various illegal operations. The man in the dark suit was his lieutenant, Anthony Rivera, who had been tasked with stopping Dr. Chin's investigation by any means necessary. The evidence that Dr. Chun had hidden throughout the building led to the arrest of 47 individuals, including business owners who had been knowingly participating in the money laundering scheme. The operation had been processing illegal money through construction projects, restaurant revenues, consulting fees, and retail sales. Marcus found himself testifying in court as the case went to trial 6 months later. His careful documentation of the security breaches, visitor logs, and camera footage proved crucial in establishing the timeline of events and the threats Dr. Chun had faced. Your attention to detail and willingness to go beyond your basic job responsibilities saved Dr. Chin's life and exposed a criminal enterprise that was operating right under our noses, the prosecutor told Marcus after the trial concluded. Vincent Morales was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison on charges including money laundering, kidnapping, and racketeering. Anthony Rivera received 15 years for his role in the conspiracy. The business owners who had participated in the scheme received various sentences, and millions of dollars in assets were seized by the government. Dr. Chin recovered from her ordeal and returned to work, but not before implementing new security protocols at Clearwater Industries. She insisted that Marcus be hired as a security consultant to help protect other analysts who might find themselves investigating dangerous criminal activities. What you did went far beyond normal security work, she told Marcus during a meeting to discuss the new protocols. You saved my life, but more importantly, you helped expose a criminal network that was causing harm throughout our community. The case changed Marcus's perspective on his role as a security guard. He realized that his position gave him unique opportunities to observe and prevent criminal activity. He enrolled in continuing education classes to improve his investigative skills and began working more closely with law enforcement agencies. The building where it all began became something of a symbol for Marcus. Every day as he conducted his patrols, he reminded himself that paying attention to small details and trusting his instincts could make the difference between safety and danger for the people he was responsible for protecting. Dr. Chin's hidden message had been decoded, but the real message was clearer than any code. Ordinary people doing their jobs with dedication and integrity could uncover and stop sophisticated criminal operations. The security intervention that started with a routine patrol had ended with justice being served and lives being saved. Marcus kept a copy of the original code in his desk drawer, not as a souvenir, but as a reminder that behind every mystery was a human story, and behind every criminal scheme were real people whose lives could be destroyed if good people chose to look the other way. The Meridian Corporate Center returned to its normal routine, but Marcus knew he would never again consider his work routine. Every day brought new possibilities, new responsibilities, and new opportunities to make a difference in ways he had never imagined when he first put on his security uniform. The hidden message had been found, decoded, and acted upon. Justice had been served, and Dr. Chun was safe. But the most important discovery had been Marcus's realization that being observant, caring about others, and having the courage to act when something seems wrong could turn an ordinary security guard into a hero. Next morning, Marcus arrived at work 30 minutes early, hoping to catch Dr. Chun before the mysterious man returned. His plan was simple: warn her about what he had observed and offer his help. However, when he checked the building directory, he discovered that Dr. Chun hadn't arrived yet, which was unusual since she typically came in around 8:30. By 10 o'clock, Marcus was genuinely worried. Dr. Chin's colleagues at Clearwater Industries were asking the front desk about her whereabouts, and her supervisor, Mr. Rodriguez, seemed increasingly concerned. Marcus overheard him making phone calls, trying to reach Dr. Chin at home. Around noon, Marcus made a decision that went against protocol. He approached Mr. Rodriguez in the lobby during his lunch break. "Excuse me, sir," Marcus said, showing his security badge. "I'm Marcus Williams, head of security for this building. I couldn't help but notice the concern about Dr. Chun. Has she been in contact with anyone today?" Mr. Rodriguez, a man in his 50s with graying hair and worried eyes, shook his head. This is completely out of character for Sarah. She's never missed work without calling, and she's not answering her phone. We're thinking about calling the police. Marcus felt a knot form in his stomach. "Sir, I may have some information that could be relevant. Yesterday, I observed some unusual activity on your floor. Would you mind if we talk privately?" They found a quiet corner in the lobby cafe, and Marcus carefully explained what he had witnessed the previous day. He showed Mr. Rodriguez the photograph of the mysterious code and described the man in the dark suit who had been visiting the building under false names. Mr. Rodriguez's face grew pale as Marcus spoke. "This explains a lot," he said quietly. "Sarah has been acting strangely for the past few weeks. She's been working late, coming in early, and she seemed nervous about something. When I asked her about it, she said she was working on a special project." "What kind of work does Dr. Chin do exactly?" Marcus asked. "She's our lead financial analyst. She reviews accounts for small businesses, looking for irregularities or potential fraud. Recently, she's been working on a major case involving several companies that our client suspected were involved in money laundering." Marcus felt pieces of a puzzle beginning to fit together. "Do you know which companies she was investigating?" Mr. Rodriguez hesitated. "I shouldn't really discuss client matters, but given the circumstances," he lowered his voice. "She was looking into a network of businesses that appeared to be moving large amounts of money through fake transactions. The case involved construction companies, consulting firms, and even some restaurants. Sarah said she had found a pattern that connected them all." "And you think someone found out about her investigation?" "It's possible. Last week, Sarah asked me about our security protocols. She wanted to know who had access to our files and whether our computer systems were secure. I thought she was just being cautious, but now." Marcus knew they needed to involve the authorities, but he also realized that Dr. Chun might still be in immediate danger. "Mr. Rodriguez, I think we should call the police, but first, let me check something." Marcus returned to the security desk and began reviewing the camera footage from the past 24 hours. What he discovered made his worst fears seem justified. At 11:40 the previous night, long after the building was supposed to be empty, the cameras showed Dr. Chun returning to the office. She had used her key card to enter the building and taken the elevator directly to the 15th floor. The timestamp showed she had stayed in the office for approximately 2 hours. During that time, Marcus could see her moving frantically around the office, apparently gathering documents and files. The most disturbing part of the footage came at 1:57 in the morning. Dr. Chun could be seen at her desk, writing something quickly on a piece of paper. She then looked directly at the camera, as if she knew someone might be watching, and held up the paper briefly before hiding it in her desk drawer. Marcus enhanced the image as much as possible, but he couldn't make out what she had written. However, her expression was one of pure terror. She looked like someone who knew she was in mortal danger. The final piece of footage showed Dr. Chin leaving the building at 2:15 a.m., but she wasn't alone. The man in the dark suit was waiting for her in the lobby. Marcus watched as they had what appeared to be a heated conversation near the elevators. The man grabbed Dr. Chin's arm, and she tried to pull away, but eventually, they left the building together. Marcus immediately called the police and explained the situation. While he waited for them to arrive, he made copies of all relevant footage and printed out the visitor logs showing the mysterious man's multiple visits. Detective Lisa Park arrived within an hour, accompanied by her partner, Detective Mike Torres. Marcus had worked with both detectives during his time on the police force, and they trusted his instincts. "This is definitely not a simple missing person case," Detective Park said after reviewing the evidence. "The pattern suggests Dr. Chun discovered something she wasn't supposed to know, and someone is trying to silence her." Detective Torres studied the photograph of the mysterious code. These numbers and letters, they could be coordinates, account numbers, or some kind of reference system. "We'll need to bring in a cryptographer to analyze this." The detectives interviewed Mr. Rodriguez and other employees at Clearwater Industries. What emerged was a picture of Dr. Chun as a dedicated and thorough analyst who had recently become obsessed with a particular case. Her colleagues confirmed that she had been working unusual hours and had seemed increasingly nervous. One of Dr. Chin's co-workers, Jennifer Walsh, provided a crucial piece of information. Sarah mentioned something last week about finding a smoking gun in the financial records she was analyzing. She said she had discovered proof that millions of dollars were being laundered through a network of fake businesses. Did she say anything about being threatened? Detective Park asked. Jennifer nodded. She said she thought someone might be watching her. She even asked me to walk her to her car a couple of times because she felt unsafe. As the investigation continued, Marcus realized that his discovery of the hidden note might be the key to everything. The code Dr. Chun had written could contain information about the money laundering operation or instructions for how to access crucial evidence. That evening, the police brought in a cryptography expert, Dr. Amanda Foster, to analyze the mysterious code. Marcus provided her with high-resolution photographs of the note and explained the circumstances under which he had found it. Dr. Foster studied the code for several hours, trying different decryption methods and patterns. Finally, she had a breakthrough. The code appears to be a simple substitution cipher combined with a reference system, she explained. The numbers could refer to specific documents or accounts, while the letters might indicate locations or people. Can you decode it? Detective Torres asked. I need more context, but I have an idea. The format suggests it might be referencing files or documents that Dr. Chun had access to in her work. If we can access her computer and files at Clearwater Industries, we might be able to understand what she was trying to communicate. The next morning, the police obtained a warrant to search Dr. Chin's office and computer. Marcus accompanied them to provide access to the building. What they found in Dr. Chin's files confirmed their worst suspicions. Dr. Chun had indeed discovered a massive money laundering operation involving dozens of businesses across the city. Her files contained detailed financial records showing how dirty money was being moved through legitimate-looking transactions. The businesses involved included construction companies, restaurants, consulting firms, and even some retail stores. Most importantly, Dr. Chun had identified the key figures behind the operation. Her research had led her to a criminal organization that was using the business network to clean millions of dollars in illegal profits from drug trafficking, illegal gambling, and other criminal activities. The mysterious code, when cross-referenced with her files, revealed something shocking. Each number and letter combination corresponded to a specific piece of evidence that Dr. Chun had hidden throughout her office and the building. She had been preparing for the possibility that someone would try to steal or destroy her research. Using the code as a guide, Marcus and the detectives began searching for the hidden evidence. In various locations throughout the Clearwater Industries office, they found flash drives, printed documents, and even photographs hidden in places only someone with intimate knowledge of the office would know to look. Marcus Williams had been working as a security guard at the downtown corporate plaza for 8 years, and he thought he had seen everything. The 42-year-old former police officer knew how to spot trouble from a mile away. His keen eye for detail and years of experience had earned him the respect of both his colleagues and the building tenants. But nothing could have prepared him for what he would discover on that cold Tuesday morning in November. The Meridian Corporate Center was a 30-story glass tower that housed various businesses, from law firms to tech startups. Marcus worked the early morning shift, arriving at 5:30 each day to relieve the overnight guard. His routine was always the same. Check the security logs, review the camera footage from the previous night, and conduct his first patrol of the building. That particular morning started like any other. Marcus grabbed his coffee from the lobby vending machine and settled into the security desk. The overnight guard, Janet, looked unusually tired as she gathered her belongings. Anything unusual last night? Marcus asked, reviewing the logbook. Janet shook her head, but paused at the door. Well, there was something odd around 3 a.m. The elevator on the east side kept going to the 15th floor, but nobody was calling it. I checked the cameras, but I couldn't see anyone. Marcus made a note in his report. Elevator malfunctions weren't uncommon in older buildings, but the 15th floor housed Clearwater Industries, a small consulting firm that rarely had employees working late. He decided to investigate during his morning rounds. The first few floors of his patrol were routine. Marcus checked each floor systematically, ensuring all doors were locked and looking for any signs of disturbance. When he reached the 15th floor, he used his master key to enter the Clearwater Industries office space. The office was modest, with about 20 workstations arranged in an open floor plan. The reception area was neat and organized, with motivational posters on the walls and a small waiting area with leather chairs. Marcus walked through the space, checking each desk and office. Everything appeared normal until he reached the back corner office. The door to the corner office was slightly ajar, which struck Marcus as odd since all the other offices had been securely locked. He pushed the door open and stepped inside. The office belonged to Dr. Sarah Chun, according to the nameplate on the desk. It was a small space with built-in bookshelves, a computer workstation, and a few personal photos. As Marcus conducted his visual sweep, he noticed that one of the desk drawers was partially open. His training kicked in, and he carefully examined the area without touching anything. The drawer contained typical office supplies, but something caught his eye. There was a small piece of paper wedged behind the drawer, as if someone had tried to hide it quickly. Marcus debated whether to investigate further. His job was security, not detective work, but his instincts told him something wasn't right. He carefully extracted the paper using a pen to avoid leaving fingerprints. It was a handwritten note with what appeared to be a series of numbers and letters, 47B19M3308T41K. The writing was hurried, almost frantic, and there were small drops of what looked like coffee stains on the paper. Marcus photographed the note with his phone before carefully placing it back where he found it. He completed his patrol of the floor and returned to the security desk to think about what he had discovered. Throughout the morning, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that the note was important. He researched Clearwater Industries online and learned that Dr. Chun was a data analyst who specialized in financial consulting for small businesses. The company had been operating in the building for 3 years without any incidents. Around 10:30, Marcus noticed Dr. Chun arriving for work. She was a woman in her mid-30s with shoulder-length black hair and wire-rimmed glasses. She seemed nervous as she passed through the lobby, repeatedly checking her phone and looking over her shoulder. This behavior was unusual for someone Marcus had observed for months as being consistently calm and professional. Marcus made a decision that would change everything. Instead of waiting for his shift to end, he decided to keep a closer eye on the 15th floor. He used the building's camera system to monitor the Clearwater Industries office throughout the day. What he saw made him increasingly concerned. Dr. Chin spent most of the morning at her desk, but her behavior was erratic. She would type frantically for a few minutes, then stop and look around nervously. She made several trips to the office printer, each time looking over her shoulder as if she expected someone to be watching her. Around noon, Marcus observed something that made his blood run cold. A man in a dark suit entered the Clearwater Industries office and walked directly to Dr. Chen's desk. Marcus couldn't see the man's face clearly on the camera, but Dr. Chen's reaction was unmistakable terror. She stood up quickly, knocking over her coffee cup, and appeared to be pleading with the man. The conversation lasted about 10 minutes. Marcus watched as Dr. Chen opened her desk drawers and appeared to be searching for something frantically. The man stood behind her, and Marcus could see that he was becoming increasingly agitated. Finally, Dr. Chen shook her head and raised her hands in what appeared to be surrender. Marcus reached for his radio to call for backup, but before he could act, the man left the office as quickly as he had arrived. Dr. Chen remained at her desk, visibly shaking. She sat down and put her head in her hands, and Marcus could see her shoulders moving as if she were crying. The security guard faced a dilemma. He could ignore what he had witnessed and hope it was just a workplace disagreement, or he could investigate further and potentially uncover something serious. His years of law enforcement experience told him that Dr. Chun was in real danger. Marcus decided to review the building's visitor logs from the past few weeks. What he discovered was troubling. The man in the dark suit had been visiting the building regularly, always requesting to see Dr. Chun, but he never signed in under the same name twice. The signatures were illegible, and the company names he listed were either fake or didn't exist. As his shift neared its end, Marcus made one more decision that would prove crucial. He returned to the 15th floor during his final patrol. The Clearwater Industries office was empty, but Marcus could see that Dr. Chen's desk had been thoroughly searched. Papers were scattered, drawers were pulled out, and her computer had been moved. Marcus checked the corner office where he had found the note that morning. The drawer was now completely empty, and there were signs that someone had been looking for something specific. The small piece of paper with the mysterious code was gone. As Marcus prepared his end-of-shift report, he realized he was now part of something much bigger than a simple security matter. The note he had photographed that morning might be the only evidence of whatever Dr. Chun had been trying to hide. He made copies of the photograph and the visitor logs, knowing instinctively that this information would prove vital. That evening, as Marcus drove home to his small apartment across town, he couldn't stop thinking about Dr. Chen's terrified expression and the mysterious code. He had stumbled onto something that went far beyond his responsibilities as a security guard, but his sense of duty wouldn't let him walk away. Marcus spent the evening researching the code, trying different combinations and patterns, but nothing made sense. The numbers and letters seemed random, but he knew from his police training that hidden messages often appeared meaningless to casual observers. Whatever Dr. Chun had been trying to communicate, she had gone to great lengths to conceal it.